Hi, everyone. We wanted to thank you so much for tuning in this evening. Um, we are really looking forward to training you guys for your launch to level 2, specifically on events, promoting, inviting, and the effective use of social media. So thank you so much for tuning in. My name is Marissa Beagleson. I'm actually a level 5 leader. I've been doing the Rodan+Fields gig for 2.5 years. I actually am a pediatric nurse by trade. I have my first degree is in exercise physiology and kinesiology, and I did that for a while and then went back to school to be a nurse and wouldn't trade it for the world. I love that job, but as many people who are nurses or in that profession of healthcare know, it is a very tedious job, long hours, holidays, and weekends. And my husband as well, not in healthcare, but also has similar schedule with call and weekends and holidays. So when we had our second child, things had to change because there was no way we could continue doing all of this and stay sane. So Rodan+Fields actually appeared into my life. I was using the products myself. I was seeing lots of colleagues at the hospital, either consulting for the company or using the products themselves and having such success. So I started using them. And then the business opportunity presented itself right when I needed it the most. And it's been a game changer, no doubt. It has allowed me the opportunity to cut my hours down at the hospital significantly. And now I'm at a point where I'm actually looking for a new job closer to home. So I'm actually doing R&F right now exclusively until I find the right job for me. And it gives me that flexibility, that income to allow me to do that. So the way this is going to go is I'm actually going to start off by talking about events and kind of the importance of it. We are, when you first join Rodan+Fields, we tell you this is not a party company, right? That is not what we do. We don't have, parties all the time, and we're not hosting all the time and stuff. But that being said, there is a huge value in getting comfortable with events and attending events and supporting your fellow teammates in events. We are a digital company, right? Our platform is in the digital world, but something about events actually adds a very personal touch to our business. It kind of brings the human connection back into this, virtual world that we live in. So it all kind of starts when you first join the company and we really press having a big business launch, the BBL. So for some of you guys, this is probably, your first couple weeks in the business, and we're so excited that you're taking this launch on, and that just shows your dedication. And the value of the business launch is a huge one, actually. It's your first kind of exposure to the world that you're really doing this. Like, you are a business owner. It is it's the most powerful way to launch your business alongside your daily reach outs. And you want to do this within the first few weeks of launching your business, right? And the way you can do it can either be in a physical event or it can actually be in a virtual event. And I'll touch on that as we move along. But for those of you who have been doing this for a while, those business launches are absolutely what you want to set as kind of your training standard for new consultants that join you in business. It's a great way to reach a wide range of people before they hear about it from someone else. They should be simple, they should be tasteful, and really, when you're talking about events, there are just a few things that are kind of like standard to them. You always want to, share a little bit about yourself, but you also want to focus in on our products. Obviously, that's what we do, right? That's why we have the name that we have. And you want to have those products on display in some capacity. And you want to also touch on the business, right? And you also want to be prepared to sign people up right then and there as a customer or as a consultant. They say that some of the most effective events, if you're doing a physical one, starts within 15 or 20 minutes of people arriving, right? Because then you have people's attention, especially if it's an event where you're going to have cocktails. All of my events always have cocktails. And people start drinking, they start losing focus and really forget why they're actually there. So you want to start pretty quickly. You want to get people's focus. You don't want to make it any longer than 30, 45 minutes max. And actually, to be honest, you can kind of gauge from the crowd that you're presenting to, you know, if you need to like cut it off at a certain point, because it's just, you know, they don't have any questions for you, or maybe they know a bunch of information already. So another thing to consider aside from the business launch is you can actually host a BBL as a team, right? That's something that we just recently did with Team One here in Chicago, and it was super successful. But it's a great way for people to come together as a team, right? We are all over the country, and it's really hard for us to gather in a space, to get to know each other, to support one another. So having a team BBL, maybe on a virtual platform, especially if you guys are all across the country or in Canada, now Australia and stuff, that's actually a really great alternative, and something that you can kind of set as a standard on your team. Maybe you could have it, you know, quarterly or something, like a team BBL where you guys invite your own guests to it. Everyone has, you know, maybe a couple people have turns at presenting on the products or on the business. Everyone gets kind of a piece of the pie, and it gives like more veteran consultants a chance to refine their presenting skills and their leading skills, and potentially like reignite their businesses. So these events are really meant to be fun. We don't want you guys to be stressed out about them. I know when I first started, I mean, my sponsor, Sarah Cole, was probably like overwhelmed with just the millions of questions I had for her about my business launch. And then I just started doing them, you know, with my team, or I started attending them, and I started getting more and more comfortable. So the more you do of them, the more you tune into them, you will take away so much, and you will get to a point where talking in front of people or doing Facebook Live or doing what we're doing right now doesn't really, you know, phase you as much. Really, the more you do, it gets easier. So you want you to have fun with it. You want you to get creative with it. You probably have heard a lot of different themes being thrown around in terms of events. You know, what could be the theme? And now with the holidays coming up, things like, you know, a skincare mingle, or a, you know, leave the aging of wine and cheese, or a holiday skin soiree. Those are really great festive themes, right? People love these. They love them. I mean, I can't even tell you guys, like, some people have literally been like, oh my God, that's so cute. How did you come up with that idea? So, and I'm not claiming that I came up with it myself, but we really want you to just enjoy having them, right? And be proud of yourself and your team for hosting them. So in terms of events, there are kind of a bunch of different categories within here. So I'm going to start with touching on the physical event. This is where you are either hosting an event from your home, a friend is hosting, a family is hosting on your behalf. This is, you know, maybe you're actually having an event at a space, a coffee shop, a yoga studio, you know, a salon. There is so much room for creativity here, but this is a physical event where you are inviting 50, 75 people, because we all know that there is strength in numbers. And, you know, I read some statistic not that long ago that says, you know, if you invite 75 people, about 10 to 15% actually do show. So, you know, this is a way that you are going to be able to plant 15, 20, 50, you know, 50 seeds all at once, right? It's a really big kind of bang, right? Otherwise, you are talking to 50 people to try to make 50 individual sales. But here you have them all present in one space. You can make a really big impact. I know that one of the bigger events that I had was with myself and my first two business partners, actually. We had an event at a restaurant, and we invited probably 100 people between the three of us total. And 40 people showed up, and we were like, oh dear God, how are we going to handle this? But you know what? we divided and conquered. We all took a segment, we all presented, we opened it up for questions, and there were several. We had 3 different stations with 3 different laptops taking orders, and each of us walked away that night with 4 to 7 new preferred customers. And one of them, I believe, actually ended up actually signing a consultant on one of the business kits that night. So, you know, there really is strength in numbers. So don't be afraid to invite your mailman, your neighbor to any of these events, right? Because you never know who they may even bring. You know, always give the option to bring guests, right? Another great idea is bringing back the cocktail party. And Diana, who you're going to hear from later, is going to touch a little bit more on some of the ways to kind of promote and invite. But there is just a lot to think about when you're talking about a physical event. There's also team-led business events. So these tend to be more professional in nature. They happen monthly. I'm based out of Chicago, but I know that not everybody is, but we as Team Up have business opportunity events that occur from locations throughout the Chicagoland area, and they always consist of 2 to 4 people presenting on the products and on the business, and also sharing their stories and perspectives. This is a great type of event to be inviting your prospects to. I have utilized these events so many times, and every single time I have brought a prospect to one of these types of events, they have gone on to sign with me. So I really do believe that there is a lot of value in actually being able to take somebody to an event so they can see what we're all about, right? It adds that human connection, that personal touch. They get to sit and have a drink with one of our leaders who is totally much more refined at this than I am, and we'll be able to talk to them, you know, in a much more, you know, in-depth way than I have, because I've only been doing this for X amount of time, or in some people's cases who are doing this challenge, you've only been doing this for a few weeks. So utilize this type of event. You can find them. They are often promoted on the Team Up business page. But also, if you are not in, you know, Chicago, I would encourage you, if you have a group of teammates that are, you know, near you, out where you're living, it might be something you want to take on, you know, yourself and be kind of the host of, right? And make it more of like a monthly or a quarterly occurrence. Then there's the corporate-led events. So these are the events that we get emails about when they're occurring regionally. It tells you, you know, what local states corporate's going to be visiting. We also can find where these events are actually occurring by actually logging on to Pulse. You will log on to Pulse, and there's actually a tab that says the RNF events tab. You click on it, and you can actually type the event that, you know, you're looking for. Are you looking for a business presentation event for somebody to, you know, for you to take somebody to, or are you looking for training for yourself, a business redefined event? So you can actually select what type of event you're looking for, the date range and the location, and they occur everywhere, you guys. They are happening all around North America, and I believe Australia as well. So definitely look at that tab. I for probably a year did not know that tab existed, and now that I found it, I really can't get enough of it. I'm always looking to see where any of my consultants could like take somebody to an event like in their location. These events are very professional. They are often in hotels or big event spaces. They have, you know, regional directors that are presenting, and then they are actually also open to all RNF consultants. It's not just your team, right? These events are open to anybody and everybody, so it becomes a really great networking opportunity. And it's just a really professional setting, a very classy setting, to be honest, to bring your prospect to, but even to go for yourself, to support your team, or to learn something, right? I have gone to plenty of events without a prospect, to just simply connect with other Rodan+Fields consultants on my team or not on my team, right? I think that I learned so much from our team collectively, more than I do spending time on Pulse or trying to do like my own research. That's where I get inspired. That's where I, feel more driven. So really take some time to look at that tab. And the difference between business presentations versus business redefined presentations in terms of the corporate-led events is that the business redefined is just for Rodan+Fields consultants. They are, it's an event where you can learn the fundamental like business behaviors that are known to help drive growth, and to help, and you get the insight of like the home office that's actually presenting. And then with business presentations, that's open to anybody that's a Rodan+Fields consultant and your prospects. The consultant usually has to pay like $10 and the prospects are free. Last but not least, we have virtual events. So this is probably the biggest one in terms of they're always happening. I'm sure many of you guys have already had the opportunity to tune into the holiday events that we've been having all weekend, all virtually based. This is an excellent way to reach a larger network, all from the comfort of their home, right? We are all super busy, and sometimes it's just so hard to get prospects, customers, consultants to commit to actually physically meeting you somewhere. So this is the next best thing, and they are super effective. Usually they are done via Facebook on a private event page, or a platform such as Zoom, which is what we're recording on tonight. So with Zoom, for many of you guys who probably already know, it's a video conferencing platform. And you would actually create ahead of time the link to your event, and that link becomes what you pass along to people that ultimately will join you that evening. You get to record the Zoom event and use that for, maybe people on your team for learning purposes, or for people that couldn't tune in that night. It's super effective. They just click on it, or they can just dial in from their phone. I've listened to plenty of Zoom virtual events driving. So also very, very simple to use. And I will tell you that the first 30 minutes are free, but after that, you actually do need to pay. And there is a membership. I don't know the actual cost of it, but I happen to have it, and it's a tax write-off. So I always just think of things like that I'm going to end up using over and over again as, I get my money's worth. As far as another platform with Facebook, so you create an event page, and some people will have slides that are already in a template format that get posted onto an event page for you through two different, the ones I should say I've used are SimShare or Post My Party. These are two different websites that have the ability to have you upload slides ahead of time and post the slides for you during the event, so you have more time to be engaging, commenting, asking questions, and enjoying the event yourself. You can also take on a Facebook Live approach. Some people like to mix the two. I have found that Facebook Live, as nerve-wracking as it is, which, for those of us who have used Facebook Live, it is nerve-wracking because you start to see people like heart, smiley face, while you're talking. You're like, oh dear God, more and more views are coming in and stuff, but they are actually really effective. They do get more viewership. They do draw more. So I would really consider, if you're thinking about a virtual event, maybe mixing the two, having slides being posted so you don't have to like sit there for 45 minutes and present Facebook Live style, or, and then have you kind of just dispersing, a few people going on live during the slides being posted. So there's a lot of kind of flexibility with it, but I will tell you that Facebook Live is super duper effective, and I would highly consider doing that for your next Facebook, virtual event. we have templates already for so many of us that have done these virtual events. We have templates already with the content that should be covered during these events, from, you know, the products to the business and stuff. And so what we'll do later on is actually post these templates for you guys to use for your own future events. And let's see, last but not least, is probably the biggest event of the year, and that would be our Rodan+Fields convention, which I don't know how many of you guys know, but next year, 2018, the convention will be in New Orleans. So you guys, convention's a hard thing to wrap your head around if you've never been there. Now, having been there once myself and also having done the virtual convention, I can honestly say that it is something that you want to make sure is in your calendar. You do not, if you are a Rodan+Fields business owner, you do not want to miss out on this event. It is life-changing. It is, you will meet people that will truly become some of your best friends in this whole journey, that will impact your lives in more ways than you can possibly imagine. It is tax deductible. You walk away with knowledge that you would never have been able to gain if you weren't there participating. It repays you over and over and over again. And it's tax deductible. I said that already. That's huge in and of itself. When I went to convention almost a year after I joined, I ended up recruiting 4 people after my convention experience. Why? Because I had the tools now to do so. Not only that, you get first access to the new innovation, the new products, you know, the secret stuff, the secret sauce. So you really want to make it a point to be there. I promise you there would be, I wouldn't make as big of a deal about it if that wasn't really, if it really wasn't that worth it, and it is. So that is what I have in terms of events. I could go on for like another hour, but I'm not. I'm going to actually pass it along to my business partner and friend, Diana, who's going to take it from here on promoting and inviting. Thanks, guys.
Wow, Marissa, that was fantastic. It's a hard act to follow.
Yeah.
So hi. Hi, everybody. I'm super excited to be here tonight. This is actually one of the first times I'm able to be part of a leadership training program. So thanks. A little bit about myself. I'm a level 5 leader. I've been in the business for a year and a half now. I started April of 2016. I am also a nurse anesthetist. I've been in practice for 6 years. I have 2 small, young, not they're small, but young too, ages 3 and 2, my boys. I'm a wife, and for the longest time, I was the sole provider for my family. My husband had quit his job right when I started anesthesia school and pursued increasing his demo reel for his job in animation, and I was the breadwinner. No problem, right? It was fine. Until I found out I was pregnant and things needed to change. Long story short, I worked my tail off to the point where I missed everything out with my children, bedtime routines. They would not let me put them down for bed. And I started getting really bitter. And there was this one aha moment I had downstate Indiana on a week-long travel assignment, living in a hotel room out of a suitcase. And we Skyped goodnight with the boys, and they didn't care. They didn't, you know, mom who? This is just a face on a TV screen. And I broke down and I said, that's it. I have to find another way. And, you know, along the years, I've gotten messages from Rodan+Fields consultants, and I ignored them. I didn't want any part of it. I kind of laughed at it. But it started becoming so predominant in my Facebook feed, I started to notice it more. And one post came across my feed about reverse, piqued my interest enough to reach out to Erica Mulhall. And here we are today. I essentially fell in love with the products, and it's really been a blessing for my family to cut back on work, be present with my children, increase my confidence to do stuff like this with you tonight, and really just gain an appreciation for life and strong women and everything else that this company offers you. So that's my quick and dirty story. what we're here for tonight is promoting an event, and Marissa touched on a ton of really great topics, so mine is going to be kind of short and sweet for you, but I really want to hammer home the concept that events are nothing but wonderful for your business. It promotes excitement and education for not only you, but for your team and for your network. Facebook is the highlight reel. We always know that it's just a snapshot of what's really going on with our life and our business. People don't know what happens behind closed doors or behind the computer screen, so inviting them to events, really promoting them, gives them an inside view of what you're doing, what your business is like, and what it can do for them. They're easy, they're quick, they can be super fun, from saying, hey, you want to grab a glass of wine? There's this thing tonight. I would really love for you to be my guest. To, what are you doing? Oh, you're in your pajamas? Hop on Facebook and learn a little bit more what I'm doing. Simple as that, right? And as we all witnessed, this weekend was a phenomenal event done by our team. Very well put together. It was a collaboration of a number of consultants, and I know personally it's increased PSQBs and gained new partners for a lot of the women. So events, whether they're personal for your BBLs or not, do them. They're going to help you. So to start promoting events, we really want to keep it personal. We all know that direct sales has a certain stigma to it, and a lot of people tend to get irritated or annoyed. So the whole key is to make it personal to you and to the person you're inviting. We want to make them feel special and needed and wanted. So we individualize our particular messages. A little tip I like is to kind of scan their Facebook feed, go through anything that they've currently been doing, from vacations to pictures with their kids, a race they've won recently, and kind of weave that into the message you're writing. Hey, Sally, I saw what you did with the kids last night for the Christmas event. It was so cute. Can you believe it's almost the holidays? Well, I really thought of you, and I wanted to send this to you because I'm doing something special with my team. ... Weave in your message. It really makes them feel like you took the time to get to know them and see what they're doing, and it doesn't feel icky. And then another thing we can do for having an in-person event, cocktails and conversation at our home for a big business launch or anything like that, make an invitation, send it in the mail. Everyone loves to get mail. It's very personal. It shows up an air of professionality for you. You are a true business owner, and you really want to project that. So invitations are great. Evites, paperless posts, stuff like that really makes a difference in how people perceive you and your business. We really want Rodan+Fields to stand out as a stand-up company, and the people that are independent consultants, we really want to individualize things. There's also a number of apps out there to create individual personalized images. So a lot of people don't think you're copying and pasting a lot of stuff out there. Stuff like WordSwag or Canva, PicCollage. You can do a whole bunch of fun things that makes it personal to you, shows that you took the time and you're not just slapping something in a message or on your feed. Really does a lot for people to appreciate you in the business. Another tip I found, I'm going to lose my voice, is to make it exciting and exclusive. Everyone wants to be invited to an exclusive invitation-only event. So using words like exclusive, invitation only, saying you only have 2 spots available for an event and you totally want them to be there, really does promote your business and yourself in a positive manner and makes them feel more inclined to accept your invitation, which will just build your business regardless. We want to create a sense of FOMO and urgency. And I'm going to tell you, I didn't know what FOMO was before I started this, but it is fear of missing out. Everyone wants to be involved. Everyone wants to be a part of something. So if you kind of project that in the promotion of your event, people are going to be more receptive to it. And like Marissa said, invite everyone you can. I know we're making individual messages, which does take a little bit of time, but the more you put out there into the universe, the more you're going to get back to you. She said 10 to 15% of invitations you send out are going to come back as a response. It's a numbers game. We want to increase our visibility. So these are tips of promoting. Don't just send 20 and be like, okay, and be surprised why no one shows up. Now we all know to events, if nobody shows up, it's not the end of the world. It's happened to all of us. But we really want to increase visibility. So promoting something like that not only projects confidence, but does wonders for your business as well. A few tips I also took away in my many years experience of Rodan+Fields is extend your event. Give people options. Everyone is busy, and that seems to be one of the number one objections that you would get back in a response if people respond. So if you're going to have an event, especially if it's virtual, give them a number of days. Oh, you can't make it on Tuesday? Well, it's going to be Thursday and Friday as well. That way people have options, and you are showing the flexibility within your business and your event, because it is for the every person. Follow up. Follow up is key. It's key with your reach outs. It's key with inviting for events. You're going to send an invitation out a week or two before the event. And then 1 or 2 days before the event, send a nice reminder. Can't wait to see you. Can you bring a bottle of wine? Or the day of, saying, oh my gosh, I'm so excited for tonight. Can't wait to virtually cheers you online. Following up really makes people feel wanted and remembered, and that you just didn't spam them. So following up is key. And then I do like to do this extra little thing for in-person events. I like to assign a responsibility for my guests. Can you bring the spinach dip? Can you bring the bottle of wine? Oh, can you grab a bag of ice for me on your way over? It assigns ownership. People are less likely to bail on you last minute if you give them something to do, and it also brings them into the event, that they're not an outsider, but they're part of it, because we want everyone to feel welcomed and loved. That's kind of all the tips I have as far as promoting. We are going to talk about social media with Shannon next, so I don't want to dive too far into hers, but I am going to go over, and I'm going to read this verbatim, so give me a second. I'm going to go over one of my favorite reach outs for an event. It's something that we all use. I kind of alluded to it in the beginning, but it goes a little something like this. Hey girl, how are you? I can't believe it's almost Christmas. Oh my gosh. So I'm really excited about this, and I wanted to share it with you. My team is hosting this huge event next Wednesday at 8 o'clock. I can't wait to present and show everyone what we have to offer. We were getting a lot of accolades from beauty bloggers and beauty critics, and I really just want to share it with everyone. You can watch from home in your pajamas with your favorite beverage, and it's even going to be recorded. So if you miss it, you have an opportunity to catch it later. If I invite you, do you think you can make it? And then leave it out there. Having something open-ended, or giving them a, if I blank, would you blank, gives them an out or a feeling of, oh, well, yeah, I could do that, so sign me up. I'll give you more language tips when we do our income producing activities, but I wanted to put that out there to show you how easy it is just to send a message, promote an event, and get your party started. Okay, so Shannon's up next. She's going to talk about the importance of social media marketing and all the great things we can do with social media. So I'm going to hand it over to her. Thanks, guys. Yep, let's do this first.
All right. Wow, tough acts to follow. Oh my gosh. Well, you know, for going last, it's kind of like you get more anxious as the time goes on, because you're like, oh my gosh, it's going to be my turn. But I can tell you, I'm truly honored to be on this training, with Diana and Marissa, who honestly, before Rodan+Fields, our paths may have never crossed. And so this business is pretty amazing. And here we are, 3 women who have stepped out of our comfort zone, bringing this training to you guys who have taken a leap of faith yourself. And we're super excited, because we hope that something that we are training you on today, you're going to take back to your own business, and it'll really, really hit home and help you grow your business. Ultimately, that's what we are all here for. This whole community and this company is very uplifting, and we all want to help one another. So a little bit about myself. I'm also a nurse anesthetist. I'm a level 5 consultant with Rodan+Fields. I started this business. I was probably the last person who would have ever said yes. Oh, I thought this might happen. I have a child visiting. Go up by dad, please. Thank you. So 5 years ago, just to share with you a little bit about what my life looked like. So I was working full-time as a nurse anesthetist. I was pregnant with baby number 5. I had been a CRNA, nurse anesthetist, for 5 years and had a tremendous amount of debt from my student loans and from life. I went to school. We had our first baby while I was in school. Came out of school, upgraded. We needed the big house, and then we got pregnant with triplets, and we needed the big car, and things continued down that path, and the debt just continued, and I honestly didn't know how to climb out of it other than work more. And so that meant more time away, and I can't tell you how many days went by when I was in anesthesia school that I didn't even see my daughter awake when she was a baby. I would go in and see her, she was sleeping, and I'd leave and she was sleeping. And then fast forward to the triplets. And again, just at that point, working my days off and trying to pay down debt and doing what any good mother would do is, right, like prepare and plan for their future. So here I was sitting at coffee break in my, little nook of time at work on a time to break, right? But it's amazing what can come to you in 15 minutes. I complimented my friend, also a colleague, on her skin, and I was introduced to Rodan+Fields. Her excitement was so contagious, but this was the thing. She just found the lottery ticket. She had no idea what it was going to be. But I knew I had to learn about it because at that point, I was 3 weeks away from having our 5th baby. We hadn't even started college funds for the triplets, let alone thanking him. But in my mind, I thought, oh my gosh, this is God's gift to me to be able to actually be present with him and really have some of that time that, you kind of tell yourself it's okay. And you get by. I'm not like a miserable person at work. I'm going to be positive, but I missed out on a lot. And so I used this business, and this business has allowed my life to look a lot different 5 years later. To some people grow businesses a lot faster. I'm like amazed at how fast people can grow their businesses. But truly, I can tell you that in 5 years, never giving up, staying consistent, and kind of being on my own journey, it now has allowed me to sit back and relax. I don't work my days off. My kids are incorporated in my business. So if I'm working, they know mommy does Rodan+Fields, and they help me. We go to the post office, and and so it's truly a joy. So I'm going to share with you, kind of cover effective use of social media. For starters, we are all on social media, from 12, 13-year-olds to 80-something-year-olds. If they can, sit there and the aimless scroll through Facebook, the ability to be able to have so many people at our fingertips to reach out with our businesses is just amazing. You compare it to what this business would have taken years ago to what we have now with social media. But with that said, I think it's really important to learn how to really be effective on social media, because everybody's got the next best brand, the next best business, and to be tasteful and not just all of a sudden, Diana is Rodan+Fields, and all you see in her post is Rodan+Fields, and everyone's saying, what happened to Diana? Where did Diana go? And you can lose yourself in that. And so I would say number one thing to remember is to be you, to be authentic, and really in a way to tell yourself, stop posting about Rodan+Fields and continue to show kind of through yourself what Rodan+Fields is. So you want to be able to create your content and create a following. And so I always tell people, remember, when you start this business, people still want to see you. They're excited for you genuinely. But how can we promote your business? Simply by promoting you. Okay, so I kind of break it up into thirds. So when you look at your post, maybe prior to Rodan+Fields, it was all family. Most likely all family, maybe not too much other even motivational or who knows what your passion was beforehand. But for me, I think it was mostly just family, maybe nights out with, girls' nights out. So when I started my business and really started to break it down, and through a lot of training and other people that have led the way, to break it into like thirds. So a third of your posts might have a direct reference to your company. For us, Rodan+Fields. A third of your posts are going to still just be you, your family, your vacations, maybe other joys, your cooking, your running, whatever you're passionate about. And people will follow you that way. And then as you have their attention, because we know people's attention is a hot commodity. I mean, that's like the attention span of the average American is like crazy milliseconds. So if you can get their attention, because they're like, what is, Diana doing, or what's Marissa doing? But if it's just that moment where, it's just a quick, post on Rodan+Fields, it doesn't necessarily get their attention as much as you. So once you've created that following, then you can weave in the other, third of direct Rodan+Fields. The other third is lifestyle. So here you're not going to directly reference Rodan+Fields. It's not so much about your family, but it's the lifestyle that Rodan+Fields has allowed you to enjoy. So whether that's your day off with your kids, saying, oh, I just, whatever, your true why, I think should kind of come through in your lifestyle post, what really is important to you. And that's where other people, you're going to see through their posts what's really important to them, and start connecting and creating a relationship with other people, other moms, other people you can see that they're working a lot. And that's kind of where you're going to connect with them. So going back to the specific Rodan+Fields post, there are a lot of different areas. So we've got our products, our before and afters. We've got our business, right? We've got this amazing business opportunity. We have a community. We have this amazing uplifting community that allows us to share that with other people, because some people just want to be a part of something, and let alone skincare or anything. I mean, they don't even need the extra income, quite frankly. So we have a lot to offer people. And so through your post, that way, you want to always, be adding new friends, liking, people's posts, and creating those relationships. I would say a couple things in terms of your specific post. Continue to be you. So if it's products, and it's before and afters, you want to take those before and afters and make it mean something. Like, how did that change that person's life? So, take a teenager who was insecure, and now like just having that confidence of her skin, and kind of making this like personal connection, instead of just pasting stuff on there, right? We all can do that. So instead of hiding behind a post, trying to make it as authentic as can be. I'm looking at my notes here too. We want to empower others. And so through our business opportunity, to really show them that, I think in your post, that it's not all roses and, the easy street, because it actually intimidates people. And like, well, she can do it, but I can't, and like somehow, well, she's got that gift, but I don't. And so I had to remind myself a lot to do this because I think we tend to hide like what really is happening in our life versus like showing people the vulnerable side and the struggles and all of that. And so I think being kind of raw and real in your post in the sense of what this opportunity can do to, in their lives, potentially in a way that you can help them versus, you need them for you. It's more, what can I do for you? And then in terms of, times to post. Thank you, Marissa. You had pulled this up, and I really, I've known that there's good times, but I've never had like a time schedule. So I'm certainly going to be using this. And this is, statistically been proven kind of how many, what your audience is like at different times to post. So the answer is absolutely yes. There are better times to post than others on social media. Saturday nights, who knew, at 8 and 10 p.m. We should be out on date nights. What are we doing on our phones? But we kind of are, right? We're like, put your phone down. But Saturday nights, Sundays from 7 to 9:30, and then weekdays between 1 and 4 p.m. And those were kind of like the hot times to think about your post. So anything I haven't touched upon that you ladies, oh, I know. Okay, so in terms of the virtual BBLs, I did want to just bring that up. In terms of social media and, putting out an invite to your event. Again, like Diana said, making it private, exclusive, personalized. You don't want to just post and throw the link out there to everyone as if like you're desperate. And so I think, again, that's really important. And I've seen it happen. I think at this point in 5 years, I've seen it all happen, and I've done a lot of it myself. So you kind of learn and you grow. The other thing is, how to, because I get this question a lot from people new in the business and my new partners, like, oh, where did you get that graphic, or where did you find that? And one simple thing that I can recommend is you can go on any of your social platforms, and you can go into the search bar, and you can just type in, let's just say you're looking for reverse before and after. You can type in reverse. You will see posts from various people. Now, don't take it and just share. And I think that's where some people not knowing, and we probably have all been there again, but to make it your own. So you can borrow graphics. You can make graphics your own. You can make the post and personalize it for yourself. I think that is an important thing to consider when you really want to use social media effectively. I'm going to stop there. I could probably go on and on. I know there's been amazing trainings out there before me, but I'm sure we've gone over our 30 minutes. So thank you everyone for tuning in. We will see you on live for our income producing, our half hour power half hour on Wednesday at 8:30. Diana and I will be on with you all, and we will post language and go from there.
Thanks, guys.
Great. Thank you. Great job, ladies.
Same to you guys. Bye.
Bye.